Okay, now we're going to look at that video to video guidance method. We are going to use the same notebook we were using in the previous tutorial, and thank God we're going to skip ChatGPT this time, because that was clearly where most of my time was spent, was futzing with ChatGPT. Okay, so back in this notebook, again, use a T4, high RAM, works fine. So we'll go ahead and connect. You might already be connected, in which case you can skip some of the early steps here and just jump down to that next phase, which I'll get to in a second. We'll connect to Google Drive here. We'll install our library, and we will also load our model. At this point, we can jump down to the using a guide film section. And let's talk a little about what we're going to do here. So again, remember that in this version, I have previously made a new JSON file called guide. And in this case, what I've done is I've loaded a single film into that JSON file. So I went to ffprobe, I did the PyScene detect on a single film, and then I ran ffprobe on that, but saved it to a new file. So this file contains the film Blue Velvet from David Lynch. This file contains like 50 other films, but this file does not contain Blue Velvet in it. That's very important, because if I included Blue Velvet in the clips file, all I would get back would be the exact same clips I asked for. So it's very important those keep separate. So I made this file already. If you want to do that, go ahead, maybe find a trailer, a different trailer from what you previously been playing with, and process those. Again, for this, what you need to do is make sure you run the PyScene detect on it, the ffprobe notebook on it, to make sure that you now have all those clips saved in your JSON file, and then at least one of your description or dialogue sections. So either blip2, mplug, or the whisper detection. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I've already set mine up to be my guide film for the guide path. The corpus path is your large data set. So this should be all of your clips. And then I want to use mplug because I've run mplug on everything, just to be safe. So go ahead and run this now. This will take a couple minutes just to load everything because it is a bunch of data. So it'll probably take about 2 minutes to load all of this. So what are we going to do? In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the guide session. We are going to grab all of the mplug descriptions for each scene in that guide. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare that to all of the data in our data set. And we should find where everything matches up one-to-one, or the closest example of that. So what we'll do is we'll go through our guide film. Maybe there will be a scene of someone singing in a club, and the mplug description is something like, in this video we see someone singing in a blue dress in a club. Then we're going to go through all of our clips, and we're going to say, what is the closest video clip as described by mplug to match that? And then we're going to replace that in that scene. So that is kind of all of what is in this code. So this one single line of code is going to do everything for us. And when we run this, it'll spit out all of the scenes as well as all of the data in that scene. The other thing I'm realizing is my code from before is also going to be broken here. So I'm probably going to need to update that. So maybe I'll stop the video and come back when that is updated. So let me do that. Okay, so all of this ran, and we should now be able to run this next cell to generate all of our individual scenes and their matching sentence similarities. Let's go ahead and run this. Now this is going to dump out a lot of detail because I'm using a full feature-length film that's like 2 hours long. But what I will get here when this finishes is I can look at my individual scenes. So here is the scene, the very last scene, which is probably something like a, the end rolling credits. And you'll see that it does find that in 2001 it has the exact same description for that. In fact, there's a couple here that have the exact same description as that. Let's go up a couple clips. So here we go. Here's one that the video shows a small bird sitting on a windowsill looking out the window. The bird is perched on the sash and its wings are spread out. This video shows a view through a window with a large bird flying through the sky. The bird is in the foreground and the window is located at the top of the building. So here we are looking at a scene from Blue Velvet, and in fact we find a matching scene from Vertigo, which kind of makes sense. They're, birds of the same feather, to use a similar discussion, or I guess a pun here. So what this will then do is this will generate a video for us if we run this next cell. So this will create a new video for us. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. So I'm actually not going to watch this generate because it's going to create like an hour-long piece. But I will share the link in our syllabus. So at this point, this is actually a pretty fast process, and you see you don't really need to go in play with ChatGPT, but you do have to actually convert the guide process and go through all the steps to generate FFProbe and then do the mplug description and do whatever else you want to with that piece. So at that point, I'll show the video. You might be asking, hey, what about integrating this with other things like shot type or color values or other things? And we will look at that in the last week of class. So I know you're already thinking that, and I promise we'll get there. But I wanted to just play with just sentence similarity this week, and then we'll begin to add on this over the next couple weeks. So that's it for the tutorials this week. I hope you have fun generating weird video clips using text prompts, and I look forward to seeing what you post in Slack. Thanks again, and see you next week.